Lena's heart beat faster as she stepped onto the grand platform of the harvest ball. The hall sparkled with soft golden lights that floated in the air, and music that shimmered like crystal echoed across the walls. The nobles of Verelia, a planet known for its strict traditions and intricate social hierarchies, had gathered in their finest attire. Shimmering gowns, floating jewels, and glowing ornaments reflected off the polished floors. Lena, a human in a world where her kind was rare, felt both out of place and strangely empowered. For weeks she had planned her strategy. Humans were admired for courage and cleverness on Verelia, but often seen as unpredictable. Lena's plan was risky. At the harvest ball, each guest was expected to form a bond, a partnership that would define their place in society for life. Lena had no intention of forming one, at least not with any of the nobles around her. She wanted to flee, return to her research on Earth, and continue her life free from alien constraints. Her disguise was perfect. Her gown glimmered faintly under the lanterns, and her hair was carefully styled to match Verelian trends. She moved gracefully through the crowd, nodding politely to nobles who whispered about her presence. Some eyes lingered longer than necessary, curious about the human woman whose intelligence had earned her an invitation. Lena smiled politely, but her mind raced with the steps she had memorized. The feigned disappointment, the scandal, and then her escape. As the ceremony began, the nobles formed a circle around the central platform. Lena's target was Sir Valen, a minor noble known for rejecting previous candidates in dramatic fashion. She approached him with a carefully measured expression of hope and anxiety. She felt the crowd's gaze, dozens of pairs of eyes watching every movement. Lena inhaled slowly. Timing was everything. "Sir Valen," she said softly, her voice trembling just enough to appear genuine. "I hope you might consider me." Valen looked at her with polite indifference. A small smile played on his lips, but it was hollow, rehearsed. I'm afraid not," he said, his words echoing through the ballroom. Gasps filled the room. Lena's heart beat faster, not from fear but from the thrill of the act. She let her expression collapse into shock and disappointment, clutching her gown. "Oh, I see," she whispered, stepping back as if heartbroken. Eyes followed her every motion, some filled with sympathy, others with curiosity. This was her moment. Lena leaned forward suddenly and kissed a stranger who was standing nearby. Her plan had been simple: pick an unimportant guest, create a diversion, and slip away in the confusion. She closed her eyes, expecting only a brief, meaningless contact. When she opened them again, the room seemed to hush. The stranger she had kissed was tall, imposing, and radiated an aura of authority that made her stomach tighten. His eyes were sharp, dark, and focused entirely on her. Lena's stomach dropped. She had not just kissed anyone, she had kissed Kale, the Alpha King of Verelia, the most powerful and respected figure on the planet. The crowd murmured in shock. Humans were rare, but bold humans who dared to kiss the Alpha King himself? That was unheard of. Kale's expression was unreadable, but there was a flicker of curiosity, almost amusement. He stepped closer, and Lena instinctively took a small step back, her heart racing. Lena's plan had been to flee, but now she realized she might have made a grave mistake. Yet she could not let fear stop her. She bowed slightly, a gesture of respect mixed with desperation, and whispered, I didn't mean to." Kale raised a hand, stopping her words. "I am curious," he said calmly, his voice deep and commanding. "Most humans would not dare such audacity. Why did you do it?" Before Lena could respond, the crowd erupted into whispers again. Some nobles gasped, some laughed nervously, and a few whispered about scandal. The harvest ball, which had begun as a formal ceremony, had transformed into a scene of intrigue. Lena could feel the tension in the air, the weight of hundreds of eyes on her. Excusing herself under the pretense of needing fresh air, Lena slipped out into the glowing gardens of the palace. Verelia's gardens were like nothing on Earth. Bioluminescent flowers stretched toward the sky, hovering streams sparkled with floating lights, and soft mist curled along the ground. She ran, weaving through paths and hiding behind luminous plants, trying to calm her racing heart. But Kyle was not far behind. Lena didn't notice him at first, but subtle signs, the soft glint of movement, the shadow behind a tree, made her realize she was being observed. She cursed under her breath. Her plan was simple: create a scene and disappear. Now she had drawn the attention of the most powerful man on the planet. Hours passed as Lena moved through secret alleys and lesser-used gardens. She used every trick she knew, taking advantage of her human agility and cleverness. Unlike the Verelians, who were bound by strict rules and ceremonies, Lena relied on quick thinking and improvisation. She climbed walls, leaped over streams, and ducked into shadows, feeling the thrill of danger like never before. Meanwhile, Kyle observed. Not with anger, but with interest. Few humans had the courage to defy social norms, and even fewer could escape palace grounds with such skill. His curiosity grew with every move she made. He wanted to know more about this human who dared to mock tradition, yet move with intelligence and courage. As Lena paused near a waterfall that glowed with a soft blue light, she allowed herself a moment to breathe. Her chest heaved, her hair clung to her damp face, and her mind raced with possibilities. She had intended only to flee, but now she realized there was a new challenge before her. The Alpha King was not someone to ignore, and running forever was not an option. Kale approached silently, stepping into the glow of the waterfall. Lena froze, expecting anger or reprimand. Instead, he spoke calmly. "You are clever, Lena," he said. "Most would not even try. Few would succeed." Lena stared at him, startled. Why are you following me?" she asked. Her voice was a mixture of fear and curiosity. "I wish to see if your boldness is matched by wisdom," Kyle replied. "Humans are rare here. Few possess both courage and judgment. I want to know if you do." For the first time, Lena considered not running. The Alpha King was powerful, yes, but he was also fair and seemed genuinely curious about her. Perhaps there was a way to turn this encounter into opportunity. She straightened, holding her head high despite the exhaustion in her limbs. I acted to protect my freedom," she said honestly. "I did not intend disrespect." Kale studied her for a long moment, then nodded slightly. "Freedom and courage," he said. "Qualities I admire. Perhaps we will speak more soon. For now, rest. The night is not yet over, and the city has many secrets." Lena exhaled slowly. She had escaped immediate danger, but she knew the night had changed everything. Her boldness at the ball had drawn the attention of the Alpha King, and now she was no longer just a guest or an observer. She had become part of something larger, a story that could change not only her life but the way humans were seen on Verelia. The part ends with Lena standing in the glowing garden, looking back at the palace in the distance. The lights shimmered like stars, and somewhere inside, Kale's gaze followed her. Lena realized that her small act of defiance, the kiss meant to create a diversion, was now a bridge to an unexpected future. She was human, and her courage had made her remarkable even in a world of aliens. The harvest ball had begun as a simple attempt to flee. By the end of the night, Lena's life had been forever changed. She had not only survived, but she had also captured the attention of the Alpha King himself, the most powerful being on Verelia. The challenge ahead was clear. She would need her wits, courage, and human ingenuity to navigate the consequences and perhaps to shape a future that no one, not even the king, could foresee. The morning sun cast a soft golden glow across the Verelian city, illuminating streets that twisted like rivers of light. Lena moved carefully through the alleys, keeping to the shadows. Though she had escaped the palace grounds after the harvest ball, she knew she could not outrun the consequences forever. The Alpha King, Kale, was no ordinary being. He was intelligent, observant, and patient, qualities that made him an unstoppable force when he chose to act. Lena paused on a quiet rooftop, catching her breath. She gazed at the city below, shimmering with neon gardens, floating transport platforms, and softly glowing towers. Her plan had been simple: create a scene at the ball and disappear. But her impulsive kiss on the Alpha King's lips had turned her plan upside down. What had been meant as a brief diversion had now drawn Kale's attention, and there was no knowing what he would do next. She adjusted her cloak, thinking quickly. Humans had an advantage: adaptability. She had survived dangerous worlds before and could rely on her wits. As she considered her next move, a soft hum of movement caught her attention. From the shadows, Kale emerged, calm, unhurried, and observing. Lena's heart skipped a beat. He was not chasing her with soldiers nor with anger. He simply walked toward her like a predator curious about his prey. "You move well," Kale said quietly, stopping a few meters away. His eyes scanned her with calm intensity. "But skill alone is not enough. Why are you here, hiding instead of speaking to me?" Lena straightened, hiding her nervousness. I need freedom, she admitted, her voice steady. The ball, the bonds. I cannot accept them. I need to return to my life, my work, my choices. That is all I seek. Cale considered her words. His face remained calm, yet his eyes betrayed a flicker of interest. Freedom is rare among your kind, he said. Most would not defy tradition so boldly. You are human. You possess courage. And curiosity. Lena tilted her head. You think humans are remarkable? She asked, a hint of surprise in her voice. Humans were often underestimated by the Varelians, seen as fragile, emotional, or unpredictable. To hear Cale acknowledge the value of humanity sparked a small flame of pride inside her. Cale nodded. Remarkable, yes, and dangerous when underestimated. That kiss at the ball, reckless yet daring. It has shown me that you are not like others. That is why I am not angry. I am intrigued, Lena's mind raced. Intrigue from the Alpha King could mean opportunity or danger. She had to choose her next steps carefully. If you are intrigued, then why follow me? She asked cautiously. I am no threat to you. I am human and alone. Cale's lips curved into a faint smile. You underestimate yourself. Humans possess a resilience and resourcefulness that even we Varelians rarely see. I want to understand how you think, how you act under pressure, and perhaps how your kind could influence Varelia. The words struck Lena. She realized that Cale saw humans differently, not as tools or pawns, but as beings capable of shaping the course of entire worlds. The thought was both thrilling and daunting. Before she could respond, a sudden shout echoed from the streets below. A group of minor nobles had spotted her, likely alerted by palace scouts. They were moving quickly, their glowing weapons at the ready. Lena's heart sank. She had avoided a scandal at the ball, but now it seemed the entire city could be watching her every move. Cale moved beside her, almost silently, and gestured. Follow me. With astonishing speed, he leapt across rooftops, landing with grace and precision. Lena followed, her human agility tested against the alien city's strange architecture. Together they navigated high platforms, glowing bridges, and shadowed passages that few could traverse. As they ran, Lena's curiosity grew. Why help me? She asked, struggling to keep pace. Why not let them capture me? Kyle's eyes sparkled in the morning light. Because I see value where others see chaos. Humans are unpredictable yet brilliant, and you are different. I do not follow you out of duty. I follow because I want to know why you act as you do, and what makes your kind extraordinary. For the first time since the ball, Lena felt a strange connection to Cale. He was no ordinary ruler. He valued courage, intelligence, and initiative, qualities she had always prized in herself. Despite the danger, she felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this encounter, however unintended, could change her future. The chase led them to a quiet courtyard, where glowing trees arched over a crystal pond. Lena stopped to catch her breath, and Cale stood silently beside her. The air was filled with soft mist, and the city's distant glow reflected in the water. For a moment, the world seemed still, as if waiting for them to act. You have evaded capture impressively, Cale said, his voice calm. Few could navigate the city so well. Yet evasion alone will not define your place here. Choices must be made. Lena nodded slowly. I want to be free, she said firmly. I will not be bound by tradition, by expectations I do not agree with. Kyle studied her, his expression thoughtful. Freedom is not simple, he said. But courage is. And you have proven yours repeatedly. I see in you the potential to do great things, not just for yourself but for others too. Lena's pulse quickened. No Varelian had ever spoken to her with such honest respect. Even those who admired her at the ball had seen only a human novelty, an exotic presence. Cale saw her as something more, an equal, a partner in thought and action. The sound of movement behind them reminded Lena that danger had not disappeared. A few palace guards had discovered her location and were approaching cautiously. Cale's expression remained calm, and he extended a hand. Trust me, he said simply. Step into the unknown, and you will see that even a human can alter the course of this world. Lena hesitated for a heartbeat, then placed her hand in his. The contact was firm yet reassuring. With Cale's guidance, she leapt across the edge of the courtyard, landing safely on a hidden platform below. The guards reached the previous spot only to find it empty. Lena's heart raced with adrenaline and excitement. She realized that this was not only survival, but an opportunity to show her true worth. As they moved deeper into the city, Cale spoke softly. "Humans have a spark," he said. "A spark that drives them to act against fear, against odds, against expectation. I see it in you, Lena, and I will ensure that spark is not extinguished here." Lena's mind swirled with questions and possibilities. Could she trust Cale fully? Could a human truly shape her fate among the Varelians? She had spent her life relying on her intelligence, her courage, and her independence. Now, alongside Cale, she felt a chance to turn her boldness into influence, to show that humanity could shine even in an alien world. Night fell again, painting the city in deep blue and silver. Lena and Cale paused atop a towering spire, overlooking the sprawling metropolis. The lights below shimmered like a river of stars, and the soft wind carried the scent of glowing flora. For a moment, silence stretched between them, filled with unspoken understanding. "You will not be bound by others' expectations," Kyle said finally, "but you must decide your own path carefully. Courage alone is not enough. Wisdom, insight, and trust, these will guide you." Lena nodded, feeling a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. She realized that her impulsive kiss at the harvest ball, meant only as a fleeting distraction, had become a turning point in her life. She was no longer a guest seeking escape. She was a human with the power to influence a kingdom, and perhaps the Alpha King himself. The story ends with Lena looking out over the city, determination in her eyes. Kyle stood beside her, calm yet attentive, a silent promise that he recognized her worth. The future was uncertain, full of danger and challenge, but also filled with possibility. Humanity had proven its courage in countless ways, and here, on Varelia, it was about to prove it once again. The bond formed not from obligation, but from respect, courage, and intelligence. Lena realized that being human meant more than survival. It meant daring to act, daring to change the world, and daring to stand beside the most powerful being on an alien world.